number next is Deepwyrm Drow. And I guess I'll read through this first. Okay, so let's go through the stat card first, Joe. Deepwyrm Drow from Utgar. Drow, common squad, warriors, tricky, medium 5. They have 1 life. There's 3 miniatures while an emergency vehicle is driving by my house. Just give it a minute. Move of 6 spaces, range of 1, attack of 3, defense of 3, 70 points. Special abilities are poison weapons. Each time a Deepwyrm Drow attacks a small, medium, or large hero with a normal attack or leaving an engagement attack that inflicts at least 1 wound, roll a 20-sided die. If you roll a 1 through 11, nothing happens. If you roll a 12 or higher, add 1 additional wound to the defending figure. Is that an auto wound then? Trying to understand. This is a lot of text.
No. It's like if you get at least 1 wound, you're adding an additional wound.
Okay, so it is.
Yeah, I mean it is an automatic wound, but
it depends on the 20-sided die roll. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If a Deepwyrm Drow is attacked with a normal attack, this is Hide in Darkness. This is the next ability. For those of you who are on the audio sphere, listen in. If a Deepwyrm Drow is attacked with a normal attack and at least 1 skull is rolled, roll a 20-sided die. If a Deepwyrm Drow is on a dungeon space, add 3 to your roll. If it is on a shadow space, add 6 to your roll. If you roll a 1 to 15, roll the defense dice normally. If you roll a 16 or higher, ignore all damage that would be inflicted by that attack. So that's kind of like an auto invincible shield almost, as long as you get the die roll. But that it kind of depends on whether or not you have the shadow or dungeon spaces on that terrain. So yeah, and Justin in the chat saying I bought 2 of the D&D master set for the train and because they included 1 common squad. Yeah. And this is the thing with the Deepwyrm Drow. Unless you acquired 2 of the because they come in the D&D master set, I believe. Here, double check. But I'm pretty sure these.
That's actually kind of pretty crazy.
You have to get these Battle for the Underdark Master set. You'd have to get, and it's a common squad in a master set, which is kind of a huge mistake because for common squads you need a bunch of them, and just one won't work. And so if you'd want to get, according to Matthias Maccabees' standard, 4 to 5 common squads, you'd have to, in essence, purchase 4 or 5 master sets, which
dang.
Yeah, tend not to happen.
Yeah, it's not great.
Very often. These, I'd say, with the let's see, with the power rankings B-, which could be better, could be worse. They certainly can move, and the attack and the attack and defense aren't bad. And I mean, they have the abilities that can inflict damage and help defense, but again, it depends on the 20-sided die roll. And also, I think it also depends on if you're playing competitively, if you got the dungeon or shadow spaces, which, I mean, to be honest, at ScapeCon, there's a lot of times where there might not be dungeon space, but there definitely is a lot of shadow spaces you come across on some of these boards. I think how often, like when it comes to map building, and this is actually a question we need to ask when we do a map building 102. How often is dungeon tiles, dungeon terrains being used for map building?
Quite frequently, to be honest.
Okay.
I think right now, I mean, obviously people are trying to make maps for Age of Annihilation, so everyone's using the lands of Valhalla. Mm-hmm. But even before that, a lot of people were interested in including dungeon into their maps at some point, just because it is so different from everything else. So there is a good selection of dungeon maps out there. So they are pretty common if you want to play this sphere. But even without, having the bonus of dungeon or shadow, 16 or higher is pretty good in my book. For hide and darkness, that's pretty good. Like, and I mean, honestly, after seeing it, I might play these guys. I might go out and what's it? What'd be like? Because I've never seen them. I don't see them on the battlefield.
Well, it's because I mean they're kind of hard to get. Although 3D printing and painting isn't difficult, really.
No, that's where I'm looking at that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know people don't like Paloff. That's understandable. And obviously he's P, so he's down the line. Do we have any other synergies other than Paloff and Otanashi? No, right?
And C3V doesn't provide much either. I mean,
just the one, Ilaria. But
and this is what's shown so far. I mean, who knows what can be synergized with whatever new C3V or new Heroscape, but probably not too much. And Joe, we got actually Hero Guy there in the chat. Hey, Hero Guy, we just gave you a shout out. So so it's great that you were able to come on. We gave your channel a shout out because we need more people to sub to you because your videos are really, really good and you need more of an audience. So we did give you a shout out.
Yeah, I'm generally, just to touch on that, like I'm so glad that there's so many people popping out of the woodwork for Heroscape and are like, let me show off painting. Let me help engage with getting people that interested in painting. I think that's fantastic. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
And here a guy saying, I hope that Renegade reproduces the D&D terrain. Any ideas if that will be happening? Actually, we might talk a little bit about that at the end of the show because I think Joe might have a thing or two to say about that. So, Joe, let's keep that question in mind and hopefully we'll remember it when we get to the end.
We'll share.
But Justin's saying it's a very average squad that's terrain dependent. If new to the game, just pass on these. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, if it wasn't, I mean, and the thing is, they come from the D&D brand, so I think there's already like Dungeons and Dragons molds of these that you could probably collect as well, which are probably probably just as expensive because I found in getting like the D&D miniatures to turn into D&D Heroscape stuff. Sometimes they're just as much as you would be getting the Heroscape miniatures. Not all the time, but it does happen. So I mean, there are options to get the miniatures out there, but I think I tend to agree with Justin in the chat there that there are better squads out there. Even though I do have, I think, one or two of these myself because Goodwill auctions, I was able to get a couple of master set like bits and pieces sometimes winning auctions. So I do have a couple squads worth of these guys. But yeah, I have yet to try them out.
But even so, like I said it before, like I mean, one attack 3, defense 3 is solid. Like I will take that. I mean, I know my Morrow drones, right? Like most that is like a very basic thing, and that's good. Like you're getting them on height. They're boosting up 4/4 is fantastic. Move is 6. They're quite quick.
Yeah, they're very fast. And attack and defense, nothing to sneer at. I mean, I think in order to be effective, or to see what type of strength they had, you would need like 4 or 5 squads of these guys, which 70 points, they're pretty cheap at 70 points. So for point value, it's not bad. I don't know what that would be in Delta. If you playing in Delta.
Good question. Let me look that up. I got you.
But let's see here.
Because
and here a guy saying Paloff needs Drow to work, so that could be a reason to use them. Yeah, if you'd be using Paloff for sure. And
Delta points. Holy moly! You're not gonna believe this, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah,
Ryan, you want to guess what Deepwyrm, Drow, and Delta are?
like 50 or 40? Or
55 points.
55. There you go. See, so Delta point.
What?
That is pretty nice.
Hold on.
Although Justin is making another point for these two, and I mean we'll be talking about another Drow in a second too. But Drow is a subset of Dungeons and Dragons, so the faction won't be expanded by Renegade. And this is one of the underlying issues. That's right. I mean, we can use these, we can have fun with these. There might be something in C3 in the future, but as far as official Heroscape, we're probably not going to get much anymore of Drow stuff, which kind of stinks because, I mean, it would be great to have anything in addition to, but this is the reality that we're probably looking at when it comes to Drow and other D&D type squads, unfortunately. But yeah, 55 points. That for Delta, that might be something. Again, you'd have to make sure you can find ways to get like 4 or 5 squads worth of these guys, because I think that's the only way to show some value to them.
I would love to show up with an army. Like, granted, like there are a lot of armies you don't need direct synergies with.
Right.
One of my favorite examples, which is an obvious example, is Rats and Q9. It's not a direct, synergistic army, but it works really well.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Deepwyrm Drow is not the same, but I'm sure there is something out there you could use with them that isn't just Raylan or Taylord or someone with a generic just or ability. But like, I would love to show up a tournament with like 4 squads of these guys and maybe like 2 awesome heroes,
right,
and just see how well they do. Because doing extra damage if you land an attack, which is pretty easy to do, and a 12 or higher, that's not that difficult.
I mean, you could try Peloth and another hero that might match them.
And then Hiding in Darkness, like I said, 16 or higher, also not bad. I mean, look, I'm coming from the world of playing Malamara all the time, and everything's a 19 or 20. Or even dividers are 17. Like, that's not happening as often. Granted, if I do hit that 17, I'm getting a whole new unit. But like Hide in Darkness, getting a 16 and just blocking all damage, and like, yeah, you're not killing me. Sorry, it's not happening. Done. That's pretty good. I don't know.
Justin's saying C3V is classic custom, so likely won't have Drow either. Probably not. But could see something generic boosting D20 rolls to Utgar figures. Exactly.
I wouldn't say that.
Exactly. It's still connected to Utgar, so we might get something to boost them. Not Drow specifically, but something.
Yeah. No. Yeah, exactly. Maybe not Drow specifically. But they have touched D&D stuff, so it's not out of the realm from the classic scape.
Right.
They just won't touch any of the Age of Annihilation stuff.
Right.
They won't touch the new generals. But they'll touch Valkyrie. They touched Valkyrie. That sounds weird when I say it like that. The
general who must not be named.
No, I was just saying because they don't. They'll touch this. They'll touch that. That sounds weird. They've interacted and used D&D, that realm of D&D before. So I wouldn't count that out. But yeah, exactly. Dark elves, so they could easily just do dark elf stuff.
Dark elf. There you go. Yep.
And they could just use the word Drow. And I mean, I can't imagine C3V shying away from using Drow. But they just have to find the right model to go with it. It's not like, the C3V, unlike NGC, where they're open their doors to 3D printed models. C3V is very specific, finding models from other games that are already painted, that are already easily priced for the current market. So as long as we can help them find good figures to use, it's very possible for them to do that. And also, Dadscaper had said last week on our meme review, we are still waiting for them to release a good chunk of C3V stuff.
Right.
So it's very possible, ladies and gentlemen, that we could get stuff to help out the Drows.
And I've heard from like I've talked to some people in C3V before that they're planning on it, like doling out a bunch of stuff. So it'll be interesting. Okay, yeah. Well let's go through it here. Do we have any lore? No, there's no character bio for these guys. Lore. They're Drow. It's D&D. I know if Jeremy were here, he would have tons to explain about it, but I guess we'll just leave it at that, since there's it just says TBA, and really that for as far as the underlying story, I mean you have like the Dungeons and Dragons storyline within Heroscape that now, since Valkyrie has been in the official canon, not much really to be said about them. Just refer to like D&D Drow to get your lore from them, I guess would be the thing to do with that.
Is Valkyrie a character in D&D? Mm-hmm. Is that why?
It's a good question. I don't think so. I think Valkyrie was a general that was made up, but they used a lot of D&D scape with Valkyrie, I believe. Let's see here. Hero Guy said, I saw some guy posting a bunch of repainted OG Heroscape as Drow with custom cards on eBay. They look cool, so I'll probably be stealing it. My favorite was a repainted Savaris. I'd like to see cool. a reimagined Savaris, actually.
A Savaris 2.0 would be dope.
Yeah.
Could he get a triple attack? Could we? That would be so much fun.
That might be slightly OP, but yeah.
No. If Q9 can exist, that's not overpowering.
That would be interesting.
That'd be awesome.
But I guess we will. I mean, for those of you out there who are considering this Deepwyrm Drow, it might be something to pass on. But at the same time, still might be. This is the fun of Heroscape, is having these different types of miniatures to where maybe competitively, I still even think competitively might be fun, but just playing them out and seeing if Drow of D&D type style Heroscape might be your thing, then consider getting them. There's multiple ways. You could 3D print them, paint them yourself. You can go through D&D minis, or you can you can try and purchase the original Heroscape Deepwyrm Drow and
go ahead, try
and be broke the rest of your life, basically. But yeah, I mean, it's still a fun thing to consider. So that is taking a look at Deepwyrm Drow for your Heroscape collection.